right. All right, gentlemen, I think I'm live, and we still got a few more minutes. I just decided to go ahead and get on here. First of all, I wanted to explain why there's no music. I was using a different computer last time, and it pretty much, I think it's the actual, either the AMD GPU is going bad or the drivers are just crap. So I am no longer on that PC. So I'm having to go back to the MacBook. Not ideal. I would much rather be using AV1, but at least I've got the Havoc encoder, which is H.265, if anybody doesn't know what that means. So I still got a few more minutes. Then I'm going to get started. So I do have the podcast later. So I did work on my setup a little bit. I kind of moved some things around. I think I got a better lighting system. I've got the light up here, so it's kind of more coming in on natural because I felt like this side was really dark. So I moved it from, I have a lamp here, which technically is enough light because I mean, you can see from my hand when I turn it, it actually floods in some light there. But then I have a light that's right here. Then I've got the light you see up there, which gives me more. So let me know how the lighting looks, and hopefully y'all be happy with the way that I have a certain camera working. And unfortunately, I still haven't got it completely done, everything, but I figured I'm tired of fighting with OBS, and so I just want to go ahead and start doing this. So hey, EC, thanks for stopping in, man. Going to work on a little bit of something today, and hopefully it works out pretty well. So, but we probably about 4 more minutes, and I'm gonna get started. Just hanging out with the chat for a little bit. Let me know how the microphone sounds. I have my lavalier mic back on again, and I never know if I need to, if like having it here is okay, or if I need to put it like right here or whatever. So just let me know because I can adjust it. I can move it from my pocket over to right here if I have to. What's up, War Thunder? I just realized that technically, like 5 o'clock my time is probably perfect for you because you're probably back home from work. So sounds good. That's sweet. Sweet. Because I like having it over here. It's kind of out of the way. I feel like I'm going to constantly brush it from the way that I work. I always do center, like I'm always center mass. So I feel like if it was right here, I'd probably knock it off. So yeah. So ideally, what I should do is actually put it up here, but the magnet's not strong enough, and I don't have a good like clip to stick it on the hat. Because then, no matter where I turn my head, it will stay exactly with the hat. Which that is technically the smarter way to do that, but it's just it is what it is. So it's 11 at night in Norway. Well, I would imagine, I would imagine so. I can't help the fact that time zones uh, are kind of a thing. Before I get started, I want to show y'all I've kind of been working on my setup, and I hope this works. I really hope this works. And for now, I'm using the free version of the software. So just a caveat: there is going to be a little bit of a little bitty logo mark on the very bottom right corner. I have an idea for it. I think I'm just going to take my logo and stick it over the top of it for now until I can actually get the free version, or until I get the paid version. But so basically, what I've done is, most of you know, especially if you watch the podcast, I have the Fold the Fold Z7. This is what this one is. I also have um I also have a former phone which was the Fold Z4, and the problem with it is that phone, the inside screen just completely quit working, but the outside screen still works really well. So that gives me access to the actual cameras that's on it. And so I sort of have it plugged in via USB to the MacBook. And so now, hopefully, while I'm doing this, there you go. Should be able to see everything. Oh, so much pain has happened since the last live stream just to get this to where it looks somewhat decent. Like, it has definitely become a pain. Oh, but let me know how it looks. Like, there's my hands, everything seems to be working. So, yeah, that's the hoops I've had to go through just to get there. I'll give you a shot of what I was talking about. Like, it has a little at the very bottom right by itself. It has just the that little logo thing right there. But if I keep my face on here, then it's not a problem. Or I may just put my logo like right in that little right here in this little corner, kind of cover it up. So, but yeah, I think everybody that's ever been on Amazon also has that mad somewhere, to be honest. So, okay. So I'm actually going to get started, and I've actually switched the cameras around. You notice that I do need to turn it just a little bit this way, so I'm working a little bit more on me. But as you can see, the camera is still further away than I like. I really wish I could zoom it in somehow, but whenever I go to this shot, I kind of already sort of zoomed it in a little bit, be more on me. I could do more, but I'm sure you don't want to see the big old mug all over the screen. But with that being said, um, yeah, I think everyone that's ever been on Amazon has this map. So I think I paid like $10 back in the day for this thing, and that was too much. It's already free and everything else. So okay, so I'm gonna get started on some of the things that we need. What I have bought, I think I bought it for. Let's see, I remember how much I bought it for. I think it was $40 in total. I bought one of those shuttle PCs, and I'll bring it out. And this is it. Of course, there's some stuff I need to like. It's not in great shape. It's really not as far as the exterior goes. It's got a lot of scratches. It has some dents. Like right here is a dent. There's one that's kind of deep right there. This back corner panel has a dent. Also, when I got it, it had no screws in the bottom of the case. And as you can see, it doesn't quite sit on there right at all. So yeah, this right here keeps popping out. I'm gonna have to push this corner back in. I don't know if you kind of tell, but it's off a little bit, both of the corners. This one for sure. What's unique about it is where this out exterior fan is, the actual CPU cooler is attached there. So I just thought it was a really cool design. But the front of it, it's mirrored. It's got scratches and stuff, but it don't look too bad. I think it looks okay. And this all works. The power button works. I've already kind of tested it. So, but here's my plan with this: is I do have this um five was it 5.5 inch or something like that drive bay. No, it's 5.25, so it's like 5 1/4 um drive bay. So I could do like some SSDs in here. I could do maybe a couple hard drives. I could try to put like a external Blu-ray, DVD slash CD drive. But until then, what I actually have is I have this um, this LG Blu-ray drive, which also does DVDs as well, and it will also play CDs on it too. And what's great about this is that it will allow me to burn, or not burn, but rip all the Blu-rays and all the DVDs. So this is kind of, my vision is, I may get a little bit shorter cable than this, but my vision is it's going to set like that and just kind of be on the top, and then I'll run everything through it. So really I have some options for this bay here because I don't really technically need an external. So that's kind of what we're going to use this for. And like I said, I may get a shorter cable than this. I think this is only probably about a, what, 2-foot cable. Yeah, it's about 2 foot. Here, right there. It's about 2 foot. So it's not very long. So that's what I'm going to use this drive for. And I'm going to go ahead and get started on actually working this. And yes, War Thunder, you are 100% correct. It is extremely easy to pull it off because there's no screws. So it kind of slides back and then it just lifts straight off. And that's pretty much all you have to do. So these things are great. I really wish, like, I really wish I had a smaller ITX motherboard, because I would love to upgrade this thing and make it my actual like gaming PC and make a sleeper build inside of this. That would be pretty cool. Any concern about temperature control, having them stacked like that? No, because as you can see, the fan actually blows out this way, and that Blu-ray drive is sitting on top, so it's got enough air to flow over the top of it. So no, I'm not too worried about that. So, and yes, they are very much epic for a media PC. But yeah, the cooler actually sets right here, which is just fascinates me. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Actually, no, I'm gonna explain some of the parts that I'm going to put in. So these are all parts that basically I had available, and this is only, I believe this is only 8 gigs. Yeah, it's 4 gigs times 2. So these are only 8 gig sticks, but they're DDR3, 1600 megahertz. And I wanted the faster RAM than capacity, just because of the way I'm going to use it. It's really going to be for ripping media and stuff. So technically 8 gigs is enough, especially since I'm using Linux. I could do a SSD in here, but I have this Evo Samsung. It's an 850 Evo, and it's MSATA. So this one should be enough. It's 1 terabyte, the 1 terabyte drive. So I don't know if I can pull it up there. Yeah, you can kind of see it. It's, there you go. It's 1 terabyte. So this is what I'm going to use in its place, because it has an MSATA SSD slot. And then another thing we're going to work on today, this is a GTX 1050 Ti, and it does have 4 gigs of VRAM. This should be plenty for what I'm going to try to do, especially even if I'm using a handbrake. So it's more than enough. It's a little dusty. I pulled it out of a system. Yeah, this should work. So, and then because it also didn't have any case screws, I went and found these, and they are ugly as snot, and I think they are going to be perfect for this. So, because it's kind of going to be a hodgepodge of parts all together. But the first thing I need to do is get this dry bay case out, which, if you ever worked on these, I wish most ITX cables or ITX machines were as simple as this. Like, you literally take 2 screws, slide it out, the whole thing comes out. That's stinking easy. Like, this thing is pretty good. Even has a little, I don't know if you can see this, it even has a little cable management thing right there if you really wanted to. I don't really care all that much about the cable management. So this is the inside of it. The bottom of the case really does probably need to be cleaned, but I am not going to do that today. Maybe I'll do it later. I have, let's see, it has SATA, Molex. It's a 6-pin. Okay, yeah. So great. There is a 6-pin, so I ain't got to do the adapter. I have a 6-pin. I have a Molex 6-pin, a Molex 2 6-pin that I could use, but I don't have to. It actually comes with one. Okay, that's great. Yeah, that works out. And I kind of move this out of the way so you can see that how this is mounted. Now we'll need to take these thumb screws out the bottom, put it in the frame. Oh, gotta take out these right here. And you can tell how loose this thing is. Like they're just barely holding on at all. Okay. And then there is actual, man, that one's kind of tight. Trying not to break the fan. There we go. Okay. And that is the actual fan. So if you ever have to replace it, you just put these screws up here, take these out, and you can replace the fan. This one doesn't look too bad, so I'll probably keep it as it is. But if it starts being loud, I'll definitely put an Noctua in here because it has the standard 4-pin, which is pretty good. So put that to the side. Now you can kind of see how the cooler is. Pull it over here, so the heat pipes go along this trail right here, and it goes up to the back. And honestly, like I don't know why more companies don't do that. Like it kind of makes sense to me. But now the worst thing about this is these things. Don't know how they're. It's like you have to do it this way. This way. It's supposed to come up. Unless I'm doing it the wrong way. Maybe I did it the wrong way. um yeah, this is the hard part right here. I don't know which way it's supposed to go. Okay, that one came out. That one came out. There we go. Whew. Okay. I know for a fact y'all can see this. That is crusty. Holy crap, that thing has never been changed in its entire life. Look at that. Like, it's not even really coming off on my finger. That's how crusty it is. Wow. How did this thing ever survive? Oh, it's worse. Look at the CPU. Look at that. Look at the CPU. There's no thermal paste. Oh wow, that's bad. That is bad. People will be using their 1050 Ti's forever. Yeah, you're not wrong. Well, so the 10 series was a great series. Like it was amazing. I don't get the whole. I don't know. Like it still has support for like even H.265. It's got nearly all the encoders. It's not as fast as the other ones, but still, like it's a great card and low powered. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to pull out the CPU because I want to, for one, clean it off, and for two, I do want to see kind of what it is. Raise it up on the corners. You check something actually. I'm gonna check all the pins, and I know I'm blowing it out, but I gotta be able to see it for myself. Okay, all the pins seem to be fine. I don't really see anything for concern. So, and I haven't booted this thing, and it may not boot, so I guess we'll find out today if it doesn't. The only thing that really concerns me, there's a couple, you might see them if I bring it up. There's a couple spots. There's one over here. There's one right here. But I'll go ahead and clean it off with alcohol and hopefully it boots. We'll see. If it doesn't, then this will be a good candidate to just replace the board and get a better power supply, and maybe upgrade it to a Ryzen or something. Who knows? So, what generation? It is a Intel Core i5 2500. So, which actually will be plenty enough for what I'm planning on doing. I mean, I could upgrade it to an i7, but then I feel like you'd be kind of pushing the limits of the power supply, and I really want the GPU to be in there. So, all right. What I do need is good old air blower, and I'm going to blow this out. I'm gonna do it off camera. So. There we go. That works. And I don't think there's anything. Yeah, there's a little bit. So. One good thing about having a lot there, I can actually see through the actual cooler. But yeah, thermal paste is extremely crusty, unfortunately. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up. We're going to try to give it the best life that I can give it. Like, it's so crusty that it's not even, like, that whole chunk just came off. Literally, that whole chunk just fell off. That's how crusty it is. So, go back to a little bit more right there. Okay. And I'm going to try to very carefully just kind of clean this up a little bit. That looks good enough. I'm going to let this dry for a second. Then I'm going to work on this cooler. Actually, I'll set this out of the way for a second. Okay. Wow, I did not expect that to be really. I didn't expect it to be a copper block. I figured it'd be cheaply made aluminum, but. And yes, there is a debate on if it's called aluminum or aluminium. The original vendor actually wanted it to be called aluminum, but the scientific board for the British scientists felt like that it wasn't sophisticated enough, so they changed it to aluminium. So on behalf of the original vendor, it's aluminum. Thank you. It's my side rant for the minute. Anyways, thanks EC has some uh have hopefully have some fun, maybe. I don't know what you're doing, but hopefully it turns out okay for you. Also, Windows 11, no. So I'm actually going to be putting AV Linux on this, or AVL Linux or something like that. So I think it will actually be a nice. Oh, I do need another one of these, and I am out. Sad day. That was my last one. Okay. So we'll work on kind of cleaning this mess off for a second, because it definitely needs it. Especially the inside, it's all dusty and whatnot. So, and I know, I got to get better about doing it where the camera is, but at least you can see what I'm doing. Like this, the phone idea has impressed me so much. AVL Linux, which is, or AV Linux technically. Basically, it's MX Linux, but they call it AVL MX. And the reason why they call it that is because it's for actually like video production or music production or anything like that. So it's actually designed. It's almost like Ubuntu Studio, just more Debian based, which with the state of Ubuntu right now, I would much rather have that than anything else. I got to find the arrow. I can't see that. So the arrow is right there on the side. Okay. So I did have it right the first time. Goes right back and there. All right. Now I can come in here and kind of clean up this board a little bit. All the caps look good. I don't see anything of concern so far. Nothing looks like it has leaked, so that should be okay. I clean some of this stuff out. I guarantee you this thing was probably in, from what it looks like to me, this thing was probably an industrial PC, and it probably set either in a box for a machine or it's set beside the machine. Just from the way that some of the dust is, I can almost kind of guarantee that. That definitely needs, that corner there needs to go back in. There it goes. Now it's fully seated. All right. At least I speak into the microphone. Well, that's because the microphone's right here. Like, I try to make sure it's near my face. So, go ahead and clean this off too, because it's gonna need it. All right. As the only Ubuntu Studio user in the chat, I feel attacked. So I'm not attacking it. Technically, if I was going to use Ubuntu, it would be Ubuntu Studio. The problem that I feel like is that they have basically given up on their operating system and pretty much have gone just server. So, I mean, I could be totally wrong. Maybe they do have something down the pipeline, but just as of right now, it feels like they don't even care about their desktop at all. So, it is what it is. These sticks don't look bad, so I'll just keep them as they are. Like I said, these are just some spare sticks I had laying around, so I can go ahead and put these back in. What's great about DDR3, these says it's ×2, but it doesn't actually like say stick 1 or stick 2. I have seen some DDR4 that actually say stick 1, stick 2. Why it makes a difference, I have no idea. I haven't really researched that part enough to wonder why, but I have seen it also on DDR5. So if you kind of know why, let me know in the chat. I don't really get why, but maybe I don't fully understand everything. I'm gonna pull up the good one because I need that bit. And what we're going to go after is these two little screws. Sure, that's kind of in the way. We got these two little screws right here. So, and that is for the MSATA SSD. Okay. There we go. Then put that bad boy right in there. Now the hard part with my sausage hands, I actually put the screw in, and I think I got it first try. Well, looky there. Now watch me struggle in a second. Okay, that's two extremely small screws that I got on the first try. I'm just saying. Just saying. That should be impressive, but it is. Because, yeah. Okay, so one thing I did notice with that, wherever I put it, is that it does have this power or these cable things. I think I want to utilize it to kind of pull up these cables away from the GPU because that is going to interfere where those cables are. So see, fishing out screws under the board. Yeah, yeah. I've actually, yeah. That's probably where I would be out if something happened. So I don't even know how my thumb got that bad. Oh well, I just pulled the skin off. It's all right. Okay. So with that being said, I need to get some thermal paste, which requires me to get the big boy. And yes, that says 45 grams of thermal paste. When you own an IT business, you tend to buy like 10 of these because you'd be surprised how many systems need. That's good enough. Actually, actually need a whole new fresh set of thermal paste. So. Okay, now comes the really fun part, and it's back to these stupid clips. I struggled with this earlier. So let me see if I can get it back on there. And I just touched the heat sink like a dummy. Oh, human oil. Okay. Let's see if I can get this. I can guarantee you this is probably not going to be first try. Because these things are terrible. Okay. That was first try. Everything's going right, so now I'm getting worried. I'm getting worried because everything is just snapping together here. Okay. Lord, let this system boot, please. Because now I'm worried. Just saying. Oh, and the drink of the day is Sprite Zero. Or Sprite Zero Sugar, so say. Now it's empty. But refreshing. Okay. That fan does need to be cleaned a little. So we're gonna go. We do have 16 viewers in total, so 17 just went up. So welcome to everybody that has joined for the live stream. Just a big man working on his new media PC. So, and also, like I said, I did fix the top-down camera. So, well, I say I fixed it. I basically are now using a phone as a top-down camera. So, if y'all do like this, let me know. I think it has greatly improved the look of the stream personally, but you know, that's my opinion, and I might be slightly biased. Just saying. So we're gonna work on cleaning this up a little bit. That way. Okay. And the fan should slide. Well, it slides out from housing, and it is quite dirty. So, I mean, when I say quite dirty, I've seen a lot worse. And on the last live stream, I actually had to clean some fans that looked absolutely terrible. So it's not as bad, but yeah, I need to get all the blades kind of cleaned off. This is the one thing I asked people on the last live stream. Y'all know a better way to clean fan blades? Please let me know. But this is just terrible because I kind of reached down. You know what? It just hit me. A horse brush. When I say a horse brush, I mean a brush like a paintbrush that is made with horsehair. Dip that in alcohol would probably clean this. I will be making a trip to Hobby Lobby because they have some horsehair paintbrushes, and that's going to be a thing. Okay, there we go. That's clean. I do need to. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. It's got some spotting on it. That kind of looks like maybe just a little bit of water spots. It may not be the actual case. It may just be just oxidation of wherever the environment was. Oh, but yeah, that's good enough. So now we've got to line this back up. It slides in like this. I got it the wrong way around. It goes in like this. And then little metal fan grate over the top, and then we can screw it down. Yeah, technically the 20 gram would probably be enough, but when I bought mine, there was on Amazon, there was a lot sale. So you could buy a lot of 10 of 45 grams for, I think it was $100, which is more than enough for what I need. And yeah, it was too good of a deal to pass up, so I just stuck with that. By the way, having a ratcheting screwdriver is the best way to do, especially with these like this that you're having to pretty much just thread the plastic is what you're doing. And so it requires some force. With that being said, patient enough. There we go. So that's good. Except for it's not. Oh, I should have known. I should have known. When I said it was backwards, it wasn't. I was right the first time. So guess what gets to come back out? Oh crap! Because I forgot that the heat sink actually goes in the back of this. So before there's the fans here, so it's pushing through the heat sink, and I totally forgot about that. Okay, well, it's an easy enough fix, but I definitely need a bigger bit than that. Go with the bigger one. There we go. I mean, in all consideration, this build is actually going pretty well, despite my own little uh, stupidity. There goes. Despite my own stupid self, it seems to be. It's going all right. I was wondering why. I was like, man, these screws are like not wanting to go in. It's because I was basically making a new cross thread or making a new thread in the plastic. So now the screws can go into either side. So it does got to go just like that. And then maybe more like, let's see, got to go a certain way. I feel like this is up, so it has to go like that. I don't believe it hung out, so that's definitely a problem. Surely it didn't just end like that. Well, here's what we can do. Um, there we go. Fix that problem. So it's gotta go. So it's definitely gotta go like there. Okay. And yeah, those screws are going. That screw is going way, way better. Okay. I probably will in the future actually replace this fan to a Noctua fan just because I feel like it would be better. Especially since that's really only the only fan that I see in the system, and there's probably one in the power supply as well. Um, yeah, there is a very small one in the power supply in the back, and then you have the GPU fans. But the way those GPU fans really work is they kind of just push the heat away from the GPU. So that's one of the reasons why I really like the fact that this is a um, low power GPU instead of doing that. Okay, so now this can go. Oh, well, remember when I said that that just seemed to work so easy? Well, the whole thing just kind of came back up. So, yeah. Okay, lock that. Okay. That's a really crappy designed for a CPU cooler. I'm just going to be honest with that. Now we can go ahead and put these thumb screws back on. Which is funny because the thumb screws were missing on this, but yet there was some on the back of this fan. Or back of the fan and heatsink, should I say. Okay. There we go. That pretty much it. So the only thing I need to do now is to work on the GPU, and it is pretty dusty. I'm just going to kind of clean this up a little bit. As you can tell, it has never been open. I did pull this from a system, so I guess we will see how dirty it is. This used to be my encoding GPU. Then I got a 1070, and then I went from a 1070 to a RTX 4060. That's pretty much what I use now for encoding. Okay. Now there should be a few here. And then I'm gonna take these off. And I don't have the bit that will actually allow me to take those off easy, so I have to do it the hard way, which I believe is, and I can't find my needle nose. So I have to do it the hard way so I get this off, unfortunately. Once you get them broken, as long as they can break pretty easy and they're not rusted, they should come off quite well. It's an interesting username, but hey, dead man. I have never cleaned this one, War Thunder, so you're right. It is the OG thermal paste, so I already know that's probably going to have to be part of it. So there is that. And there is one. There's one, and there's there's two, there's two more connectors here. Okay. I wonder if, I think this card lights up, maybe, so maybe that's what these other ones are, because two fans definitely can run off of the one. Can definitely run off the one. And this thing's kind of crooked. It bothers me, but I'm not going to deal with it. Okay, let's see. We have 4 DIMMs there, as you can see. Thermal paste, definitely crusty. You know what? Those pads are still good though. I'm okay with that. Okay, so GPU, what I like to do with the GPU is basically take it and use some cotton swabs and, or also known as Q-tips, by the way, and some 91% isopropyl alcohol. I use a little bit stronger strength when it comes to, especially these components that have to do with a lot of heat. Sometimes the thermal paste just doesn't want to come off. This one's coming off okay, but see that big old piece that just chunked up there. So there's one. I get this other one to break off. There's 2. I would say it's pretty crusty. When it breaks off like that, yeah, it's definitely, it was past due. All right. So a little bit more alcohol just to clean up the die a little bit more. I'll kind of clean around the chipset just to give it some time. Then, as far as the inside goes, it really don't look that dirty to me. I don't really see anything as far as like any major dust. So, if Dad, you're watching while driving, just avoid the side of the road and all the potholes. And also, if you're going to ramp it, make sure you do say yeehaw. That is the rule. We're in America. That's the rule. I'm sorry. Dukes of Hazzard tells you to do that, so that's what you got to do. Okay, all that came off really weird, so I'm gonna use this to kind of wipe it off a little more. Then a little bit more alcohol. Clean it up. There we go. So only 2 Q-tips. That's good enough. And oh, I'm 3-3 today. Actually making the shots. Okay, let me look through the fans with the light. The fans really don't look that dirty. There is what looks like to be, that was a spider web. Other than that, it don't look too bad. Like it looks okay, good enough to be put into this case. So, and let's see, am I 4 for 4? Yep. All right. And I actually didn't have to take this off. At least not. At least not the these. So let's go put these back on here. They make they actually make a socket bit for this so that you can take them off easier, and they actually make them for these little electronic screwdrivers. So I really need to buy me a set of them. I just haven't yet, just because I've just always done it like this: needle nose, then tighten it down. All right. Yes, technically you could set it up as a mining server. I'm not doing that, hip dad. I'm actually going to use it as a media PC. That's my actual intent. Put an absolutely mine on it, 100%. But you know, okay. Don't ever do this. This is a bad practice, but yeah, I had to get thermal paste, get the cap off of the thermal paste. So there we go. That's enough. Now, really, technically, it's probably a little bit more than what it needs for thermal paste on a GPU. But since it is a GPU and it runs so hot, I'd much rather have just a little bit more thermal paste. Personally, I think probably the best way is to. No, I'm going to go this way because these cables are so short that it's actually kind of hard get them back in there. There's one. I'm sorry you can't see what I'm doing, but I don't know how to angle this any other way because how awkward these cables are. Oh, yeah, I'm having trouble getting that stupid fan cable back on. Okay, lift it a little bit, maybe push it to that side. There it goes. Finally. Ooh, That was rough. Now, this cable's easy because there's actually proper length to it. So just make sure it's out of the way. And then should just go like just like that. A lot of times if it turns like hard cement, yeah, I'm not hitting anything. A lot of times if it's a thermal paste that actually turns like hard cement, then what that actually is something called thermal um it's called thermal cement. It actually is uh it's not really cement, but that's kind of what they call it for is thermal cement or thermal glue is another word that I was looking for. Um, that one had the paper one. Those are actually used for a lot of times if they plan on never actually opening that system up a lot or even at all, then they'll use thermal cement or thermal glue and basically glue the heat sinks or everything in place. Instead of pads, actually some of the anyways, instead of doing some of the other stuff. Um, let's see. Well, we're gonna be putting timeout for 24 hours for spamming. So there you go. Yes, sometimes now there is some thermal paste that are so old you what I like to use is a credit card. You can actually bend the credit card and slide it in underneath and like wiggle it out. So sometimes that works. But yeah. Okay. So that's pretty much cleaned up. So we're done with this stuff. I'm gonna just put it back where I had it. And we're gonna move on to installing a GPU. So oh wait, I can't do that. There actually is right here. There's actually a little plate that's on top. So they have to take those screws off in order to do it. So take that out. The plate, I'll show you, the plate just kind of lifts up like that. And that's how you get the GPU in. So kind of convenient, but also kind of inconvenient because it doesn't stay up. So yeah. Now we're going to move that out of the way. And I've got to line up the bottom here. And like I said, it's convenient, but also inconvenient. Oh, good thing it dropped to the side. It's not one to go all the way down in the bottom. So that's okay. That's it. I'd say that, but not really. All right. So here's how this is going to have to go work. I'll have to kind of push it forward and then put the screw in. Because it is in there, as you can see. Like it is fully seated inside of the socket, but problem is it hangs out right here at the bottom, and there's a no. This is not enough to really get it in there, so I kind of had to pull it forward a little in order to get it to actually set in there. All right. Now we're just going to do the 6-pin power cable right there. Rest of this kind of come down. I'm gonna have to pull this out a little for now so I can get this bracket back on. Pull it down. It's got to go. Ooh, that's gonna be a problem. Because of the way it sits, I don't want to sit in there with this right here. Really, what it's designed for is actually a quadro card. Quadro cards, they actually put the power in right here on the back of it, which I don't know why they don't do that for all the other GPUs as well. It would so much easier to deal with. So I guess for now, this is not going in. That's okay. I'll just take all these cables and we'll kind of push them up towards the front for now, out of the way as much as I can. There we go. Put that down on there. Looks like a rat's nest, but it's the best I can do for now. Okay. All right. So now we are ready to plug it in, and we'll try to actually get some power. So we'll go back of there. Got power supply down here. And I do have a HDMI cable, so we can go ahead and do a test. And I want to do this before I actually put it all, close the case back up, see if anything, see if it actually powers up or if there's any issues, which I'm hoping is not the case, but you know, you never know. So keyboard and a mouse. There we go. All right. Get on my trusty keyboard. I really like this keyboard. It's got brown switches on it, and I've been using it for testing for several years now. And then, of course, this is actually a Razer mouse. It came with one of those essential bundle things back in the day, and back then I was poor enough to where somebody actually bought it for me to be able to use for gaming. And so the real question is, everything is plugged in. I don't see any lights, but let's go ahead and power cable. Let me turn my monitor on. There is a light. There we go. It lit up. All the keyboards, mouse lit up. Now let's see if I actually get a video signal. Well, would you look at that? Got a video signal. Let's hit F1. See. I will tell you right now that fan is going to be annoying. It is kind of stuck. I am pressing F1 and nothing is actually showing. Okay, well, fire it off again. Do this again to see if I get anything. If not, then what I'll try to do is remove some of the RAM just in case. So. Not accepting any keyboard inputs. Maybe if I tried a different USB slot, maybe it would like that better. Yep, I'm getting nothing. Now this is why you don't. Yeah, there's nothing. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, it delete or F2, but at the same time, if you press F1, a lot of times it'll actually give you some information. But yeah, I'm getting nothing. Like no matter what I'm pressing, there is nothing. So turn that off and go. I'll go from the front and see if I get anything from there. My keyboard lights up, so I know the keyboard is working. Let me try this. Let me try actually putting a USB drive in here, which will be my Ventoy drive that has my actual AV Linux drive in it. So see if I put that in, if it will actually go to anything. Okay, still getting nothing. Different port, maybe? Obviously, USB ports work because I'm getting power, but I'm just not getting any. Yeah, I'm not getting any kind of inputs whatsoever. Okay, so let's turn it off. Let me pull one of these RAM sticks. Sometimes just doing that will actually help it. So go back to that. Oh, we gotta plug it back in. Yeah, it has a CMOS battery. Okay, that didn't go full screen this time, or full run this time. So let's do F2. Yep, still nothing. Okay. Well, I could replace the CMOS battery. I do have some extras, so that is something that is replaceable. Actually, buy a whole pack of them. So I could definitely do that. And what I like to do is I go ahead and rip this open because it's just going to be in the way plastic. There we go. Let's see. I need a small flathead. I have it over here. I believe I did. I was correct. I did have my small flathead over here. So I'll take it back to the screen. So the CMOS battery is right here. That is unplugged from the power supply. So it should be, well, that one's a little too big. I have another one over here somewhere. It's a little too big. All my flatheads went. They're supposed to be all over here, but this one is small enough to actually pop it up, I believe. So there it goes. Now there's the old one, and this is how I do the new ones. It's actually in between two plastic pieces, so I'll take the scissors and actually cut in between them and use one of the sides to pull it out. Okay. New batteries in. Okay. Plug that in. Hit. Switch back to here if we get anything or not. We're back to where we was. All right. Okay. Still nothing on that. Um, it's not as loud as before, but it's still not responding to anything. And what's crazy about it is there's not a PS2 port on here. If there was, you would better believe that I actually would use that sucker. Because a lot of times, like that. So let's do maybe it doesn't like this RAM stick. So if that's the case, we take that one out. I'll put this one in. Well, that's hard to hard to see with all these cables. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it is a corrupt BIOS. I'm trying to see if maybe just resetting it would help, but so far, yeah, I'm not getting anything. It depends. It could be a corrupt BIOS or it could be time and date, but there are times, especially with these industrial machines, it actually is a corrupt BIOS. So there is a way to do this, and we're going to see if we can do it live. So you turn it off, and you actually unplug it, and then you hold down the power button. We're going to see if we can just reset the BIOS. Yeah, incorrect BIOS can also do that as well. That's true. So basically, we're holding down the power button to make it think that there's getting power, but what I'm actually doing is draining the power from it. So let's see if that will actually help. And usually you do it for about 15 to 30 seconds. That should be good enough. Okay. There we go. So just now turn it back on. So it is starting to get a little bit late, and we do have the podcast later. So right now, this is about as far as we got to this part. None of the inputs work, so the BIOS is obviously not responding at all. There is one more thing you could try that I'll go ahead and see. Yeah, usually you don't have to pull the battery, but at this point it's worth a shot. So a couple things I am going to try. Number one, I can go ahead and pull this back out again. Unplug the power first. I can pull this back out again. Also, what I'm going to try to do is take it out of the first slot and maybe stick it in the second slot and just see if that makes any changes, or it shouldn't, but I've seen weirder things. So let's go ahead and hold. Excuse me, let's go ahead and hold this down. So does it throw a keyboard error? I don't think so. I can unplug it though. We'll see. And I'm going to drain the power 100% to try to just reset the BIOS, basically, is what I'm doing. If it still doesn't work, then what I may chalk this up to is that the BIOS is probably either damaged or corrupted. And I'm either going to have to try to figure out how to reflash it, which I do see the BIOS chip here. I either have to reflash it, or I mean, honestly, I could just get an ITX motherboard in this thing, just to be honest. Yeah, I would, but the sad problem is I actually don't have. Actually, I do have another keyboard. Hold up. It's worth a long shot, but I do have this keyboard. I could try. It's technically made for Mac OS, but at this point, anything. Try. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm actually going to try to start it without the BIOS battery. Okay, it does not start without the BIOS battery. The CMOS battery. That's actually okay. So let me readjust these pins a little to where I know it's actually making contact to it just a little bit more. Bring my flathead again. Readjust these just a little bit more. Do it just a little bit more of a bend. There we go. All right. Now, turn it on. We'll see what it says. Nothing's attached to it right now. Same thing. Okay. The okay, nothing with that keyboard, so I will try the other keyboard that I have, which that keyboard technically does have LED. It's just a white LED, so maybe something that is non-LED might be a thing. I don't know. That shouldn't be the case, but as I've stated before, we've seen weirder, so shut that down. Try it one more time. Well, so I think what I'm probably going to do is just replace the board altogether, which kind of is a shame because I really wanted to use that MSATA SSD. So if I use it in another board, maybe I have to basically, I don't know. I know I could get an ITX to fit in this. That would absolutely fit just fine. Um, yeah, I think the BIOS is 100% corrupted on this because the fact that it won't even register anything. I mean, I do see the BIOS chip, and if I had the actual um, the clamp to actually do it on there. Battery's not bad. That one actually I know for a fact has tested just fine. There is no other. There's nothing else that is on it that should make it not post. I don't see any other ports that should be replaceable. Also, there is no jumpers on this one. Yep. I've already tried to reset the BIOS, but I don't see any jumpers on this board at all. Like I said, I do see the BIOS chip under here, kind of under the GPU. Yeah, there is nothing else on this board. So think at this point, I think at this point, yeah, we've already done that. Yeah, we've already I've already done that. I've already drained the power multiple times. Yeah, hey, you know what, Jordos? If you do have an ITX board that I could use, I would absolutely use it in this build. Um, I'd love to use it in this build because I want to use this build. So that would be that'd be great. And actually, I will say without exposing your address, I did receive the box of parts. So I'm very grateful for this, and I'll probably do an unboxing um, of this. But yeah, so I think for now, it is getting late, and I need to get ready for the podcast. So I think for now, I'm just going to leave it as it is, and if I get another ITX motherboard, then I'll just go from there. Kind of a shame that it didn't work, but at the same time, maybe something is wrong. And if y'all remember, I did talk about those two little burn spots on the CPU. So could be that could be it. Maybe the CPU is actually bad. That's could be part of it. It's probably not likely. It's just the thing about computers is that you never 100% know, and it could always just be some random weird issue. But who knows? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this thing back on. So we're going to line it back up where it belongs. Close it. And then, at least for now, we'll have proper thumb drive screws, or thumb screws, should I say, not thumb drive. Proper thumb screws. And there is 3 of them, which I only had 3 of these gray ones, so it kind of. See, I already checked the pins, Sprungles. I already checked the pins on this. The pins were totally fine, but there was 2 little burnt spots that was on it and on the CPU. So I was kind of hoping it was just maybe just a little dusty or whatever, but I feel like it probably is something's wrong either with the socket or there's a corrupt BIOS on here, so it's not working. But you know what though? Here's the thing: I only bought this for $40, so I can't complain about it. Like I'm not going to. That's just that would just be stupid of me. So, but other than that, that's all I have for today. So, um, oh Darren, sorry, I figured it might be Sprungles. Sorry, Darren. Um, yeah, there's no, there's no I don't feel like trying to do anything else with it to try to fix it. I mean, I don't see any point, really. So, yeah, and without a spare CPU. Yeah, yes, Broncos, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Good grief. Never gonna let me live it down. But anyways, so we'll come back and to this later at a later time, and I'll probably do another live stream. Um I might have another CPU. Actually, come to think of it, I might actually have another CPU that I could try because I do have some of these Dell systems that has different CPUs. So, but regardless, you know what? Regardless, this is a cool case. I really like this case. The Shuttle PCs, they just have a look to them that absolutely looks. It's industrial, and I really like the look of it. So I will say that this where they're supposed to be feet is really nasty. So I'm probably going to scrape that out and replace it. But Okay, that's all I have for now. For today, I've got to get out. I got to get out of here and get ready for the podcast. So if y'all haven't already, also join the podcast. That is coming up pretty soon within the next hour. So other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will be, like I said, I will be streaming it again once I get back to, figuring out some of the parts and whatnot. So yeah, that's all I got for today. And I got to clean up my office with the podcast coming. It's going to be, it looks dirty. Anyways, all right, guys, that's it for me. Y'all have a good one. God bless. Peace.